Good morning. Thanks for joining us. This is the Colorado River Basin Water Supply Briefing for January. I'm Cody Mosier at the Colorado Basin River Forecast Center. Go ahead and get started here. So today we're going to chat about precipitation over the past several months, look at soil moisture conditions, snowpack conditions, and take a pretty detailed look at our January 1st, 2024 water supply forecast. And then look at the forecast air that can be expected for our January 1st water supply forecast, and then look at the upcoming weather forecast, and then take some questions if there are any at the end. So these slides and a recording of this webinar will be made available on our webpage later today. And you are more than welcome to, if you have a question, type it into the chat or the question box. Okay, so a review of the 2023 Southwest monsoon season. So the monsoon season generally runs June 15th through September. These graphics here are showing precipitation spanning June through September 2023. The upper left graphic is precipitation across the Southwest as a percent of average, whereas the lower right graphic is precipitation rankings or percentiles. So you'll notice lots of browns and orange colors across southern Arizona up into southwest Colorado, some of the green colors up into northwest Arizona, into Utah and southwest Wyoming. So the areas that typically receive that monsoon moisture, that would be Arizona and southwest Colorado, had a pretty poor monsoon season. This past June, September, generally below average across those areas. However, further north into Utah and southwest Wyoming, generally above average precipitation during the monsoon season. And when it comes to our hydrologic model soil moisture conditions, that's impacted by past seasons runoff as well as that monsoon season precipitation into the early fall. So the graphic on the left here, this is showing our model soil moisture conditions as a percent of average out of our hydrologic model. Labeled there the upper Colorado and the lower Colorado river basins. That's the focus of this webinar. So in the upper Colorado, you can see starting up in southwest Wyoming, generally near to above average fall soil moisture conditions up there. But as you move down into Colorado and down into Arizona, soil moisture conditions, they worsen as you move from north to south. A lot of that is due to the poor southwest monsoon season down in those southern basins. So why does this matter? So soil moisture impacts on water supply runoff. So above normal soil moisture conditions have a positive impact on the water supply outlook due to the increased runoff efficiency associated with those above normal soil moisture conditions, whereas below normal soil moisture conditions have a negative impact or decreased runoff efficiency on the water supply outlook. So looking at the Colorado River Basin as a whole, generally near to below normal across the Colorado River Basin when it comes to soil moisture conditions, and they do improve as you move further north. And when it comes to the timing and magnitude of spring runoff, ultimately a result of the snowpack conditions, spring weather, and the soil moisture conditions. Now looking a little bit closer at soil moisture across the upper Colorado River Basin. So we're showing this fall on the left compared to the fall of 22 in the middle, and the difference between the two on the right. So you'll notice across those northern basins, the Duchesne, Upper Green, Northwest Colorado, soil moisture conditions generally near to above average and better or similar compared to last year. So those green colors on the graphic on the right there indicating soil moisture conditions that are improved from a year ago, whereas the orange brown colors indicating areas where soil moisture is worse compared to a year ago. So Southwest Colorado, especially the Dolores and the San Juan River Basin, soil moisture conditions there worse compared to last year. Now looking at the same graphics for the lower Colorado River Basin, so this is primarily across central Arizona, and focusing on the graphic on the right there, the difference between this fall, the fall 2023 and the fall of 2022 soil moisture conditions, generally similar or worse compared to a year ago. And a lot of that, again, due to that much drier than normal southwest monsoon season. Now, a little bit further along, this is October through December, so the first 3 months of the 2024 water year. These are monthly precipitation graphics as a percent of average. You'll notice lots of reds, pinks. Those colors are associated with below average precipitation. There were a couple areas that did see above normal precip, specifically in October, west central Colorado, up around 135% of average roughly. And the upper green did pretty well in October, whereas November, December, much drier as a percent of average. Really very few areas came in with near average precipitation for November and December. And then this table on the right here showing percent of average numbers by basin, the last column being that October through December 3-month period, everywhere below normal for the first 3 months of water year 2024. A little bit different look at the first 3 months here. This is the graphic showing October through December, precip as a percent of average, same table shown here as the previous slide. Across the upper Colorado River Basin, first 3 months of water year 2024, 60 to 90% of average. Across the lower Colorado River Basin, just 35 to 60% of average for October through December precipitation. Now into January 1st snowpack conditions. So we're showing on the left here, we're showing January 1st SWE conditions. So when we say SWE, that's snow water equivalent. It's the amount of water in the snowpack. So the graphic on the left showing NRCS snowtel stations that are located out there up in the mountains. Those are those squares on the map. And then also shown our hydrologic model snowpack conditions for those significant runoff areas. Those are the highest elevation areas that generate most spring runoff. It's also shown on the map. And not surprisingly, given October through December precip was below normal, January 1st snowpack conditions below normal across the Colorado River Basin. So across the upper Colorado River Basin, 40 to 70% of normal for January 1st snowpack conditions. Across the lower Colorado River Basin, little to no snow across central Arizona. Some areas from our model, 35% of normal. That would be Salt and Upper Gila, this area here. So looking at the evolution of the upper Colorado River Basin snowpack for water year 2024. So the big plot in the middle showing the snow water equivalent above Lake Powell compared to the dashed line is 1991 through 2020 median, where the blue line is 2024 water year. So you can see when certain storms hit the upper Colorado River Basin. The biggest one happened in early December. You can see the jump here, this graphic associated with that event here showing month-to-date precip on December 5th. So purple's there. So it was a pretty good start first week of December, where a lot of the areas across the upper Colorado River Basin had well above normal precip, indicated by the purples there, 200% or greater above average. But there were a few areas, for example, in the Duchesne, the south slope of the Uintas, the San Juan range here, especially the San Juan headwaters with the greens and oranges, and a little bit down into the Colorado headwaters, Gunnison area. It looks like Plateau Creek, Surface Creek area didn't get quite as much as many of the other areas for this big event in early December. And then the graphic all the way to the right here, this is end of December 2023, or yeah, 2023. You can see those same areas stand out, the Duchesne, San Juan range. So they didn't really catch up after this early December event. Now into our water supply forecast across the upper Colorado River Basin, issued January 1st. So the map on the left, this is showing as a percent of average the April through July volume forecast across the upper Colorado River Basin. So you'll notice generally lots of oranges and red triangles. That falls in the 50 to 90% of average range for the majority of our January 1st upper Colorado River Basin water supply forecast. There's a table on the right here summarizing a few of our water supply forecast points. See Lake Powell forecasting 4,200 calf. When we say calf, that means thousands of acre feet. And Lake Powell forecasts 66% of the 1991 through 2020 normal. And again, these are April through July volume forecasts. And forecasts are more favorable in those areas that have those better soil moisture conditions and better snowpack conditions. And again, Lake Powell circled here on the graphic. It summarizes the hydrologic conditions throughout the entire upper Colorado River Basin, and our water supply forecast evolution plot shown. So we're plotting the volume on the y-axis, time on the x-axis. We run our model every day, and we publish our ESP or water supply model guidance to the web. And we, on the first of the month, now through May or June, we issue official water supply forecasts indicated by the vertical pink line and dots here. And it's a probabilistic forecast. So we provide various forecast volumes. So the dot in the middle, this would be the official 50% forecast. This is the most probable scenario. Again, 4,200,000 acre feet or 4.2 million acre feet. And then because it's probabilistic, a range of values, we also provide numbers, for example, a wetter scenario. So this would be the volume that has a 10% chance of being exceeded, a drier scenario, or the volume that has a 90% chance of being exceeded. Okay, now taking a little bit closer look within the upper Colorado River Basin. This is the upper Green River Basin above Flaming Gorge. The graphic on the left, we're showing the triangles are our water supply forecast locations. The shaded areas shown on the map here, this is our hydrologic model snow, percent of normal. Again, this is the upper Green River Basin in southwest Wyoming above Flaming Gorge. So this covers the Wind River Range, Wyoming Range, and the north slope of the Uintas. So you can see January 1st model snow well below normal above Flaming Gorge. Water supply forecast in the upper right forecasting 675,000 acre feet for Flaming Gorge Reservoir April through July inflow. That's 70% of average. This pink dot here, this is the official 30% forecast. So this is the volume that has a 30% chance of being exceeded, and that's right around average. So just currently about a 30% chance of seeing average April through July runoff. And the graphic in the lower right, this is a group snowtail plot above Flaming Gorge. So for this particular location, this is 18 snowtail sites. It's a composite of those sites. We're plotting the 1991 through 2020 median, that's the dash line, 2023, so last year's in green, and then 2024 is in blue. And it's right around 50 to 55% of normal in early January above Flaming Gorge. Moving further south into the White Yampa River Basin, same plot here on the left showing shaded areas are hydrologic model snow as a percent of normal with the water supply forecast and triangles. Yampa at Deer Lodge shown for the water supply forecast in the upper right, forecasting 87% of average there. Early January snowpack conditions above the Yampa Deer Lodge location, about 74% of normal. And continuing to move south across western Colorado, this is the Colorado headwaters area with a focus on the Colorado River at Cameo. This is near the bottom of this. So this covers the Eagle, the Roaring Fork, Granby, Dillon, a lot of reservoirs in this area. The focus with the evolution plot and the snow plot is the Cameo location. So the January 1st forecast there, 81% of average. Early January snowpack above Cameo around 70% of average, normal. Now into the Gunnison River Basin, forecast ranges here between 55 to 80% of average. Blue Mesa circled here, January 1st forecast, 490,000 acre feet, which is 77% of average. In the snow plot on the lower right, right around 75% of normal early January snowpack conditions above Blue Mesa. Into the Dolores River Basin, just 4 water supply forecast points here. They range from 55 to 70% of average. And at McPhee Reservoir, for the January 1st volume forecast is 145,000 acre feet, which is just 57% of the 1991 through 2020 average volume. Again, as we move south across western Colorado, snowpack conditions and soil moisture conditions generally worse off than surrounding areas. So lower volume forecasts and a little bit lower snowpack conditions in early January in southwest Colorado. Above McPhee, snowtail stations right around 70% of normal. And in the San Juan River Basin here, this is the focus is on Navajo Reservoir, which is circled on the map here. The January 1st forecast, 375,000 acre feet, which is 60% of average. And the snowpack above Navajo Reservoir, right around 60 to 65% of normal in early January. So that covers the upper Colorado River Basin. So before we jump into the lower Colorado River Basin, taking a look at the El Nino Southern Oscillation or ENSO status. So this information is from the mid-December ENSO discussion issued by the Climate Prediction Center. And there is currently an El Nino advisory, and that's expected. The El Nino is expected to continue through the winter. You can see the graphic In the lower left here, this is a typical El Nino weather pattern where we see generally wetter weather across Arizona, kind of a transition zone across Utah, and then typically warmer weather across, say, southwest Wyoming into northwest Colorado. This is a typical El Nino winter. It's not guaranteed. I think many of you know last winter was a La Nina winter, so we were expecting drier weather across Arizona, and that wasn't the case. So this is by no means a guarantee that we're going to see wetter than average weather across the lower Colorado River Basin, but generally what happens. And then as we get into the spring, early summer, there's a transition to ENSO neutral conditions are favored. And you can see the probabilities in the upper right, as well as the distribution plot from the models. You can see transitioning from the El Nino down to more ENSO neutral conditions, which is this horizontal line here. So currently an El Nino advisory. So what that means for lower Colorado River Basin forecast, so typically, again, typically results in increased chances of wetter winter weather across the lower Colorado River Basin. So we do take that into account when we are preparing and issuing our water supply forecast in the lower Colorado River Basin. So these are January through May volume forecasts. We don't have a lot of points across the Arizona into New Mexico, but they're all shown here. And we generally look at these as a percent of median. So pretty wide range here. It's like about 65 to 145% of median. You can pick your location and get the percent median average or percentile in this table here. We're going to take a little bit closer look at the Salt River Basin, which is the salt near Roosevelt Reservoir is circled here with the evolution plot in the upper right. So this solid blue trace, this is our raw ESP water supply guidance that we issue every day. And that raw guidance is not ENSO weighted, but our official forecasts are. And you can see that official 50% forecast is this middle dot here. You can see that's higher than the raw ESP model guidance, and that's due to we're taking into account the increased chances of wetter weather across Arizona. And we'll continue to pay close attention to this, and you know, come next month, if it's looking like maybe a bust for El Nino, we'll make adjustments, or if it looks favorable, then we'll continue our weighting approach when it comes to issuing water supply forecasts across the lower Colorado River Basin. And then the group snow toe plot in the lower right, you can see we have picked up a little bit of snow first week of January, but still behind where we were last year and the 30-year normal. So looking at January forecast verification. So we're looking at historical forecast verification here. This is all of our points, but we're going to focus in the upper right table here at some locations across the upper Colorado River Basin. So generally in January, 20 to 30% forecast error. And most of that air, or a lot of that air, the source of that air is unknown future weather. So we're forecasting April through July volumes. It's January, so we have, you know, between now and the end of July, 7 months of future weather that we don't know how that's going to play out. So we typically do better headwater locations that are very well gauged, and we know about some of the water management that's happening. We don't do quite as well at the lower elevations that are driven more by rain, and we don't know as much about some of the diversions or demands that are taking place. So the first week of January, we have seen more active weather, so that's good news. This is showing precipitation amounts for the first week or so of January. So we started out dry, and then starting about January 3rd, 4th, we started getting some precipitation. That's continued through this morning. So more active weather in January thus far, with a series of storm systems and colder temperatures than what we have seen. So looking at upcoming weather, this is the 7-day precipitation forecast. So we're expecting the active weather to continue this week. This is a graphic from our webpage showing daily precipitation forecast amounts for the next 7 days. So in the upper left, this is today. We are expecting some lingering light precipitation. Not a whole lot there. It's kind of a transition day before we get the next storm system moving in. So this is Tuesday here, and then you can see periods of snow are possible each day across higher elevations, specifically the northern areas. So the graphic on the lower right, this is a 7-day total. You can see northern Utah up into parts of southwest Wyoming, and then northwest Colorado currently forecast to receive the most precipitation over the next 7 days. With some of those areas expecting higher amounts being the White Yampa headwaters, again, northern Utah into southwest Colorado, with a little bit less expected down in southwest Colorado. And then looking at the week 2 outlook, so these graphics cover January 15th through the 21st, and these graphics are showing the probability of increase of above or below normal precipitation. So the graphic on the left here for that January 15th through 21st period, forecasting increased chances of above average precipitation. It looks like, again, that precip continuing across the upper green into northwest Colorado for the highest chances of above normal precipitation. And then the graphic on the right, the 8 to 14 day temperature outlook, increased chances of below average temperatures across some of those same areas, northern Utah, southwest Wyoming, into western Colorado. So to summarize here, in the upper Colorado River Basin, soil moisture across those northern basins near above average and better compared to a year ago. In the southern basins, so the Dolores, the San Juan, down into Arizona, soil moisture conditions below average and worse compared to a year ago. January 1st, snowpack conditions across the upper Colorado River Basin, well below normal, 40 to 70%. And April through July volume forecasts range from 50 to 95%. The lower Colorado River Basin, again, soil moisture below normal, worse compared to a year ago. January snowpack, early January snowpack, very poor at 0 to 35% of normal, with January through May volume forecast 65 to 145% of normal, and are taking into account increased chances for wetter than average winter weather across the lower Colorado River Basin due to El Nino. We are expecting active weather to continue this week and possibly into the second week. So we do put one of these webinars on for the Colorado River Basin near the beginning. It's typically the 5th working day of the month, January through May at 10 a.m. We also put on a Utah Great Basin water supply webinar. Those are same day at 11:30 a.m. Mountain Time. We will be providing a peak flow forecast webinar Wednesday, March 20th. And you can register for this on our webpage, cbrfc.noaa.gov. Register for these webinars. You can find the recording and the slides of these webinars. You can also, if you're interested in being notified about when we issue certain forecast products or our water supply discussion, you can request to be on one of those email lists through this link here. And just a few slides on some web page updates that we've been working on. So we now have added a filter points option. So again, cbrfc.noaa.gov. Here we're looking at water supply forecasts, and we have this filter points button here, and that'll pop up a sidebar where you can select certain basins that you are interested in. So this example is showing the Gunnison, Dolores, and San Juan River basins. So that filters everything out. But those on the map also provides a table with the filtered points and some numbers for what you have selected here. And then data plots, we're migrating our data plots to use the same plotting packages. So these would be our snow plots, water supply evolution plots, our 10-day stream flow forecasts. These are more interactive plots. What else are we working on? Yeah, if you notice anything fishy or something that doesn't look right, please let us know. There are quite a few changes, so we'd love to fix what's not working. And then in terms of how you can get in touch with us, here we're showing which one of CBRFC staff, what basins they're forecasting for water year 2024. So these are the basin focal points. So if you have questions about a specific basin or location, this is how you can get in touch with that person by email. You can also call us. The best way to get in touch is our CBRFC operations email or phone number shown in the upper right there. We do currently have 3 job openings, and one of them is available to apply to right now. That's a hydrologist, meteorologist position. So if you or somebody you know is interested in that, please pass that information along. There's a link here. There's also links on our homepage if you're interested in applying. And that's all that I have for you today. I'm gonna stop there and look to see if there are any questions. I do see a few in the question box, but stand by. And again, you can raise your hand and we can unmute you if you're interested in or have a question. I also believe the attendees can see the questions that have been asked by others, and Ashley Nielsen, a colleague of mine, has been answering those throughout the webinar. So I'll stay on for a little bit longer, see if there are any more questions. But if not, hope to see you next month. And again, please don't hesitate to reach out through email or phone if you do have any questions. And with that, I'm not seeing anything, so I'm going to end the webinar, and again, hope to see you in February.